Welcome back to Blind Man Morris, and today we're going to do an overview of living with an 803 Series 2 Morris Minor. So if you're new to Morris Minor ownership, or you've ever owned say a Morris 1000 or a 1098 based Morris, and you've considered going to something different, a bit of variation, and you've got the bug and you're buying more than one Morris, should you discount an 803? What's it like to live with one? So in this car there is a completely stock engine, gearbox and differential. The differential is 5.3, the engine is an 803, and it's got a 4-speed manual gearbox with no synchromesh first. So let's pop the bonnet, have a look before we look around the car and then go inside. So as you can see, it's completely standard and original except for the inclusion of a battery cut-off switch. So that's why there's that extra heavy duty cabling over there. This is positive earth as it would have been coming out of the factory. So as you can see, there's acres of room in there, easy to work on. It's got the old DM2 Lucas distributor. It's running a C40 dynamo on the charging system and running an original style control box, although it's a new one, it's still mechanical. We get good charging out of this. The lights are reasonable, but they're still beam unit lights. We've got trafficators with flashing LEDs, which are very good, I have to say. People behind do notice them better than normal indicators, because a little arm pops out and it starts flashing very brightly at you, and they go, oh yeah, that's recognisable. They're turning right, which is a bit of a marvel on modern UK roads. So that's an overview of the engine bay. So let's have a look round.
I just look at the grille here a minute. So this is what they call a cheese grater grille. So this is on earlier Series 2s, and you also get the cheese grater on the MMs, which are the side valve engines. But on those you would have had low lights, whereas these are called high lights, meaning that the lights are up, further up, aren't they?
Yeah, I think the original in the low light, the actual headlamp would have been here.
Yeah.
So that changed as well. As you see, got the old split screen with the massive 8-inch wiper blades. We don't find them an issue, actually. We've been quite impressed with them, haven't we?
We have, but seeing as it's raining, we'll show you later.
Yeah, I think it might have stopped, but there we go. So let's pop our heads inside and look at the difference between this and the later saloons and travellers. So here we are inside the Series 2, and it does differ a little bit from the later Morrises because there is no central speedo, and the controls are in a slightly different place, and the instrumentation is behind the steering wheel here. And you've got your full fuel gauge on the left, your speedo in the middle, and your oil pressure gauge on the right, and your trafficator switch, which is down here, mounted there. I've moved that bracket, so that's not standard, is it? Because normally it's under there, but it's easier to work at. As you can see, this has got the original gearbox, so it's got the long gear stick, very different to the later Morrises, but you don't have any issues changing gear wheels at all?
No, I don't think that's a problem.
No, it's not an issue.
No.
Windscreen wiper switch up here. You got your ashtray, which is very important for your modern driver.
Yeah. You've got your choke, your ignition key there, your lights, and your starter switch there.
And there is no heater in this car. There wasn't originally, so we didn't put one in. And there's a mini dashboard toggle switch. Oh no, I think it's there.
In the middle there. Yeah.
There.
And just to say what that is, this is the ignition warning light up here, and the button over here opens the glove box.
And so what is the visibility like in this car? We'll probably talk about that more as we're driving, but tiny mirror there, and as if you look behind you, you will see the letterbox rear screen. Not much of a disadvantage. If you want to increase your visibility from behind, you can put door mirrors on this chrome trim here. You can just drill through there and fit a door mirror, which gives you good visibility on the left and right hand side of your car. The advantage to this car over the later saloons is the seats are much more comfortable, especially in the rear, because of the narrowness of the rear window. The rear seat back is much higher and gives you massive amount of support right up around your shoulders and you've got an armrest.
You
which
get
you don't
armrest,
get.
don't you? Both sides.
And it's sprung, and it's basically like sitting in an armchair on a Chesterfield. They're so much more comfortable than the later vinyl Morris seats.
So we're now in the rear, and you can just see round. So you've got the screen there.
These are just much more substantial, aren't they? Than the
They
later
are.
seats. These seat backs are solid. The underneath are solid, so you don't get that sagging you do with the webbing straps on the later seats. These seats are absolutely lovely to sit on. Lots more support. Yeah, they're great in the back. Really comfortable. Really comfortable. Boot space is exactly the same.
We'll
on
go
all
and
the
have a
saloons.
look.
Go and have a look. The rear boot is open. So here we are at the rear of the car, and as you notice, there is the standard boot space for your Morris saloon. It's actually more in there than you get a decent week's shopping in there. We do, don't we?
Yep.
Even with the toolkit in there. So let's shut the boot lid. This is a slightly different state to the much later boot stays that you get on a Morris's. They had these self-locking boot stays on the later Morris Minors, whereas on these you have the pole. Slightly different version of the boot. Basically you've got the rear badge there with the reflector in the middle of it. We've actually got slightly later lights on our Morris. They would have been the Tombstone design. These are from the late 50s, early 60s style.
But they're still single colour.
They're still single colour though, and they don't indicate, they're just stop tail lights. We just prefer to fit these on these fenders at the back because these are slightly later fenders, replacement ones, and the hole was pre-drilled for that style of light and not the original light. I didn't want to start carving up a piece of steel.
I'll walk around the car.
You walk around the car. There's a lot more metal in these than the later Morris's, especially on this seat pillar. This big seat pillar at the back. It's about twice, or if not three times.
What you mean by that is the distance between the screen
and there.
and the door.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's massive compared to the later Morris's.
We'll do videos on the other Morris's and you'll be able to see the difference, but that's a huge distance there, isn't it?
So tyres and suspension we'll talk about more while we're driving, but we run Blockley 145 ATR 14 tyres on here, and they suit the car beautifully. Good grip, radials, good efficiency, and they look nice on the car. And I think, well, after all of that guff, let's go and see what it's like to drive in real times on a bit of open road and in town and traffic.
Okay, so I'm now just coming to a standstill. I'm by the junction, so I'm going to turn left. It is actively raining. So I'm in first gear. I'm at 10 miles an hour in second gear. 20 miles an hour in third gear. Just short of 20 miles an hour in third gear. There's quite a long gap then before you go to fourth. So I'm at 30 miles an hour. I'm just being overtaken. So I've gone into fourth just, and I'm just over 30 miles an hour. Hopefully you can see the windscreen wiper and the speed that they work at there.
See the Muppets are out today.
Yeah.
So, what's the visibility like?
It's actually better than you might think. The mirror, which you could improve because you could put a different mirror in, is terrible. But actually the front screen is fine, very little difference even though it's got a split screen. And the rear screen is good too, even though it's smaller. It doesn't make an awful lot of difference. It's absolutely boring now.
So as you can see, the windscreen wipers are, I would have said they're reasonably effective, don't you?
Yeah, I'm now doing just short of 50.
In the rain. Suspension?
Yeah, I mean this car has got 7 leaves on the springs on the back, and so that combined with the seats means that it absorbs the bumps really, really well. I would say that out of all the ones we've got, it absorbs the bumps the best. It's incredible, really, isn't it, if you think about it?
Well, it's our oldest Morris.
Yeah.
And as we're coming up to a set of roundabouts, I'll stop here until we get to a bit of town traffic, and we'll see what it's like using a trafficator in town in traffic. So here we are in traffic.
Right now I've just used the trafficators to go in left. Because I'm already in fourth. Just under 30, I've gone into fourth.
And how do you find it driving in town with the signal semaphores and the gear and the ratios?
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, I mean this is a 5.375 diff, so there's a big gap between third and fourth, and very small gaps up until that point. So we're going to go left here. Trafficator out, trafficator back. It's also got this really well, in fact it's great for town driving. So if you live somewhere in a city or a town and you're looking for a Morris to do distances in town, it'd be brilliant, wouldn't it?
I think.
Easy to park.
Yeah, I think anything up to about 10-mile rural trips, 10 miles to a town, it's no issue at all really. It happily potters at 50, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Pulls quite well up hills. People do say about it struggling going up hills. We're going up one now and you're in fourth, aren't you?
I mean, I'm doing 40 miles an hour.
40 miles an hour in fourth, up a reasonable incline. I think this is a particularly good 803 engine. There's no whine different coming from the differential at the rear. Everything's in reasonable condition. How about the braking? 7-inch drums.
Yeah, I would say it's similar. It's not as sharp as the Traveller because that's got disc brakes on the front, but it's similar to the later Morris 1000s. So it'll be similar to our 1962 or 1961 Morris 1000s that have got drum brakes all round. They have to be well maintained, of course, but if you've got well maintained brakes, they're fine. The pedals are small. One thing I would say is that the pedal size is small on an 803 on a Series 2, and I wear Doc Martens all the time, and it is easier in this car to accidentally press the wrong pedal than it is on a later one. So that is perhaps one of the things I would point out, is if you've got large feet, I've got size 8 feet, and you wear boots, it is possible to press the wrong pedal by accident, because the distance between the pedals and the size of the pedals is different.
So there we go. Driving 803. Can you use it as a daily? I think if you do short journeys, living locally, no reason why not.
I also think they get a bad press because they've got an 803 engine in them. But if you really want a 1950s style experience,
Yeah.
do it.
Well, yeah, if you want a 1950s style experience, buy a 1950s car
Exactly,
with a
do it.
1950s engine.
It really does feel like you're driving a car from
Yeah.
the 1950s.
It's lovely. I love the smell of the leather. I hope that's helpful, and there we go.